Welcome, everybody. Trainwreck Comic Fandom for Life. I'm your host, Joe Vitson. This is an adults-only channel. I am an aspiring comic book writer, digital inker, as well as a almost 40-year fan of what we call comic books. Sorry about it seems like we're having a lot of trouble today, and I apologize. This is the third attempt at doing this live stream. I don't know if something's going on with StreamYard or YouTube or what's going on, but hopefully this stream will be a smoother sailing for everybody. So let's get into comic books because that's what I want to talk about. I did go over Allegiance Arts, 2 books from Allegiance Arts, The Futurists as well as Red Rooster. I'll go over them again really quickly. The Futurist takes place in 1860s India, has some gorgeous artwork by Butch Geis, with assistant inking by Rick Magyar, lettering by Eric Weathers, and coloring by Mitch and Elizabeth Breitweiser, as well as Alex Guamares. And like I said, I apologize for any names I mispronounce. This, like said in the previous post that got bogged down, I was surprised. I thought this was going to be kind of like a time travel adventure, and it may very well be, but for the first book, it mostly looks at magic, mysticism, kind of wizardry, sorcery. I thought it was very interesting. Out of all the books I've read, out of the 4 books that I've gotten from Allegiance Arts, this was like the longest read. It was still good, though. I thought the story was great. Definitely recommend it. Go to your Walmart, find the Allegiance Art stand that they have there. Pick up all 4 books. All 4 books are really good. If you don't have them at your local Walmart, I believe you can still order through walmart.com and be able to get the books as well. Red Rooster, this was probably one of my favorite because this is kind of just a straightforward superhero story. It takes place in 1930s America, and it looks like Red Rooster is basically like this character who appears in these serials or short movies that you would see at the theater. I mean, he has a fan club, kind of like the Superman fan club of the day. All the kids love him, but then him and the people that he joins up with in the serials are actually real superheroes. So they go out and they do the superhero things. They fight bad guys, and I think that's great. It's just a really straightforward kind of I don't want to say Cape Crusader, Cape superhero book. Takes place in the 30s. It's very well written. I think it's wonderful. The artwork by Mitch Breitweiser is great. Colors by his wife Elizabeth, letters by Eric Weathers, color flatter was Hernan Octavio, and was written by Mitch Breitweiser as well. And it's a really beautiful book. It's probably one of my favorites. I think it's a hard toss up between this and Nora's Saga. I think I got really into those 2 stories the most. But since I'm just a superhero fan, Red Rooster wins by a smidge over Nora's Saga. And then I was also talking about I've been getting into doing comics digitally because things haven't been coming into stores, and it's just easier for me to do digital. And I wanted to give promotion to Coffin Comics, Brian Pulido's company. Right now you can get on Comixology. They have La Muerta. They have 5 issues of that, as well as Lady Death. I think they have 7 or 8 issues of that. I know these were all originally funded, I believe, through Kickstarter. I don't know if these are the actual sized books that you could have gotten through Kickstarter, or if they're cut down versions, just to make sure that the fans who supported the campaign don't feel ripped off that people are getting the books later on cheaper. So I know with Red Rooster, that was a big thing in the Comicsgate community and War Campaign community, because about 2 years ago, I want to say. I wasn't in Comicsgate at that time. I wasn't affiliated with them. I wasn't a part of War Campaign, but Mitch Breitweiser crowdfunded Red Rooster through Indiegogo, and he has yet to fulfill on that campaign. And now we're seeing a cut down Red Rooster version of Red Rooster showing up in Walmart. And, that kind of leads to some dramas and some bad feelings because, when you do a Indiegogo campaign or even a Kickstarter campaign, the biggest thing that you need to do is you need to create the product that you're saying that you're going to create, and you're going to get that product printed and to your customers, your backers. That should be it. I think the big thing with Mitch and Elizabeth, they had really big dreams, and that's great that they're getting comic books into Walmart. But I think the focus should have been, in my opinion, should have been fulfilling the campaign. Right now I'm working on my own project, and I'm blessed to be working with a phenomenal artist, Jason Johnson. He just turned in page 4 of the first 14-page story. It's going to be the book is going to be a horror anthology style book that contains 3 separate stories. Each story has my devil character in it. It's really the whole premise is what if, as a young adult, like a teenager, or even a little bit preteen, like say from the ages of 12 to 16, you were approached by the devil, and the devil knows that you're having problems, or he knows you're having these thoughts about certain things. If you made a deal with the devil, would you get the results that you were expecting, or would it be more like the monkey's paw, where you get what you want, but there's a heavy price to be paid for it? And I just thought that was kind of interesting. If I could bring kind of like that devil story and mix it in with the monkey's paw, and then have like these younger characters who may not even know that they're dealing with the devil, or that they're dealing their soul away to him. What would they wish for? What would they want the devil to make happen for them? Would it be fame and fortune, or would it be riches, or would it be a lot more deeply emotionally connected to the character? And that's what I really wanted. I was really when I gave the first script for the first story over to Jason, and he read it and he got back to me and he was like, "Man, dude, this is really heavy." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I want." It's like I want the horror of the devil character, but I want the reader to get emotionally kind of attached or wrapped up into the story of the main character. The devil is going to be in all of them, but these young adults are the main character. And the first story is called Milo's Folly. Milo is a young boy who lives, he's about 12 years old. He lives in rural America, during the 40s, I think 40s or 50s. And, he's carrying a heavy burden as he's walking out on this nice, beautiful day down this nice country road. He runs into the devil, and the devil just kind of lets him fall into making a deal with him. And it really has consequences that Milo almost recognizes immediately. And so I'm very happy to see that this is coming along. The colorist that we have, unfortunately, right now is in the process of moving. So I'm not sure when he's actually going to be able to get to coloring the pages, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. What I want to do, what my overall plan is I want to sit down very soon and talk to a couple printers, see how much it would cost to do a 48-page book. What kind of options can we have? Can it be perfect or square bound? Can it, or do we want like do I want to try to get a chromium cover on it so it's shiny and looks really good? There's a lot of options when it comes to talking to printers about what you want for your book. So I got to sit down and do that. And then I figure most likely me and my family will fulfill the books, and we'll buy bags and boards, and we'll get Gemini mailers, and we'll fulfill ourselves. So, for me, the biggest expense is going to be right now I'm paying Jason out of my pocket. I'm going to pay for the first 14-page story out of my pocket. And once I get that 14-page story, I'm going to look at creating an Indiegogo campaign and launching from there. And then the money that I raise from the Indiegogo will go to getting the next two teams of artists that are going to do the next two stories. Because I would like to see different artists on each story, just for it's a different take. It's get a different feel. Every artist brings their own kind of creativity and their atmosphere, and how they create atmosphere and how they work with lights and darks and shadows and everything like that. So I'm very interested to see that. It's wonderful to see Jason's stuff. I love Jason's work. It may be possible. Maybe I'll get him to do something else in connection with the campaign, but for right now, I have it in my mind that I want to work with other artists in the Comicsgate community to make this kind of anthology happen. It's going to be 48 pages. I know that. I'm probably going to, since it's my first campaign, I'm probably going to leave it pretty low thrills. It's I don't think there's going to be really a lot of tears, because I don't want them to, some people, their first campaign, it's oh yeah, I'm going to give you posters, and I'm going to give you stickers, and I'm going to give you cards, and I'm going to give you, whatever. And when the campaign's done and they're looking at getting all this stuff finalized, through a printer or whatever, they realize man, I went too far. It's so for me, I'm just kind of yeah, I want to offer you a comic book, and, maybe a poster would be cool. And, depending on how much I raise, if I can get somebody to do maybe a variant cover, then I would entertain a variant cover. But I don't see me offering really a lot of things in tiers. I might look at stretch goals and say oh, okay, if I reach this money, then this much money, then, we can look at doing this, and then this much money will be this, and this much money will be this, and go that way. I don't know yet. It's stuff I'm still working out. I have a basic idea. I've done research. I have a basic idea of what printing is, just a regular kind of 48-page book would cost. I know exactly what I'm paying, Jason and the colorist. I'm not getting any money out of this at this point. This is, I won't get anything, if anything, until after, the book and anything else is printed and fulfilled. And that's the right way to run a campaign. I think some people get in their ideas oh, this money, it's is mine. I love it. I made all this money. And it's just no. Indiegogo takes 6%. Then you have to understand that the government's going to want their cut. Then the printers want their cut. And then if you do fulfillment, even on your own, you have to sit there and go, well, how much for so many bags and boards? How much for so many Gemini mailers? Which I think all comics should be shipped in, because I think that's the perfect mailing box for comics, because it really protects them very, very well. So yeah, I have plans. I want to move forward with them. It's going to take time, because I don't want to just jump in. I don't want to be just one of those people that just wow, there's my campaigns. I got nothing in hand. So, I want, like I said, I want to at least get Jason's 14-page story done. And then look at using that to show people like what I'm looking, like the quality I want to put into the book, and give them an idea of like, yeah, it's like I'm serious about this. I'm excited about this. This is something that, as a comic book fan, who doesn't want to do? Who doesn't want to create their own comic book? Whether it be a superhero comic book or a crime or horror or science fiction style comic or whatever. It's like this stuff is exciting. So I want to do it. I want to do it right. I don't want to fail at this. I want it to be a success. And that's all I can really say about that at this time. But the other part of this stream, I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about like the drama that I see on the internet and social media. Facebook, especially Twitter, is just they should just rename it drama. It's like there's so much going on, and if you're part of the Comicsgate community, and or you're part of Comicsgate via War Campaign, or maybe you're gamers that have been brought over, or maybe you're part of like the Star Wars, the Phantom Menace that have come on to comics and stuff like that. There's a lot of drama that goes on, and some of it is infighting, which is sad, but it's really it's going to happen because people see Comicsgate as like this one entity, and within Comicsgate there's War Campaign, and that's an entity, and it's really not that. It's like every Comicsgate is made of individuals. Everybody's different, and everyone has their own beliefs, how things are done, and they speak their own mind. They're not a representation of anybody else within that community but themselves. And the same goes for War Campaign. And you get infighting over some stuff that you just sit there and go, wow, let's not waste our time with this. Let's take that time and use it constructively, and let's create comic books that are entertaining. And people might sit there and go, well, I don't give a fuck what you say, Joe. And that's cool. It's like, I know I got a small channel, and I've only really associated myself or been a part of or declared myself as Comicsgate about 9 months or so ago. So, people can just tell me to stick it up my ass and take a hike, I guess, and that's fine. But these are just my opinions. I'm not saying people's names. I'm not trying to feed any other drama or anything like that. I'm not going to talk about stuff that's specific necessarily, but this is just something that, as part of this community, you don't want to see your brothers and sisters fighting. It's really, to me, it's like a family. It's like you don't want to see your brothers and sisters fight, but sometimes brothers and sisters, or brothers and brothers, sisters and sisters, they butt heads, and it happens. And you air out what's the problem is. You apologize if you need to apologize. You shake hands, and then we go about our business. That's what Comicsgate really is. And we want to keep growing Comicsgate. We want it to grow larger and larger and larger, and bringing in more creative talent, bringing in more fans or customers, if you just want to call them customers. But this drama can stop people from coming over. For a long time, I stayed away from Comicsgate because I listened to certain people who were saying like, oh, this is a hate group, and they're alt-right, and they're all conservative Republicans, and they're neo-Nazis, and they're homophobes, transphobes, istophobes, whatever. And, I listened to it for a long time, and then I took it upon myself to sit down and actually start listening to some of the people in Comicsgate. And, I believe them when they say it's like, listen, this is just a bunch of consumers and creators together who want to create comic books that just tell stories. They don't push social agendas. They don't push political agendas. They're just good stories to entertain, to take you out of the real world for the 20 minutes or so that it might take you to read the books, and that's why we read comic books. That's why I read comic books. It's like if I want to hear about social agendas or politics or anything like that, I can turn on the news. I don't have to pay, you know, $5, $10, $15, $25 for a comic book to have them preach at me. I can just watch the news. They'll preach to me, you know. So I don't see, why people want that stuff in comics and Comics Gates and War Campaign. They don't want that. They just want good stories, And then outside of the drama that's created within, there's also the drama that comes our direction from the outside, from anti-CG people, from people who are SJWs, and that is just another shit show. You have people who are pissed off that this group of people that is Comicsgate and War Campaign said enough's enough, fuck off, we want to do things our way, and have been successful. And that just pisses anti-CG SJWs right the fuck off, because they wanted to see people fail. They wanted to see people lose their homes, destroy their families, even drive some of these individuals to the point of contemplating suicide or committing suicide. That's what these groups want, And I just sit there and I go, why? Why? Is it because, so-and-so can sell, $1 million worth of comic books and you're selling 15,000? It's like, well, why waste your time being mad at this successful individual, somebody who has a great amount of success? You should be happy for them, I would think. Yeah, of course you might sit there and go, well, I want what that person has. Well, you know what? Shut your fucking mouth, sit in front of your computer, write a good story, get on your drafting table, draw out your story, put time and effort into it. Don't worry about this whole, I'm going to get a book out every month and it's going to be shitty as fuck. And boy, if people don't buy it, it's so-and-so's fault. Stop doing that. Take the time to create something that's going to reach out to people and people are going to have an interest in. And then don't get on Twitter and tell the fans to go fuck off and kiss your ass, and you don't give a shit. Oh, you're part of a hate group. You're fucking dirt people. You're garbage people. You're monsters. You're evil, whatever. It's like, take that away. Take it away. Keep it to yourself. You know what? It doesn't matter. Like, if you don't like me, that's fine. Don't like me. I don't have to like you. You don't have to like me. You don't have to be mean towards me, though. I don't have to be mean towards you. I can just sit there and go, hey, all right, we don't agree. All right, you go do your thing. I'm going to do my thing. But that doesn't happen on social media, because you know what? It's so easy to be brave when you're typing on a computer in the safety of your home, or you're on your iPad or on your phone. It's really easy to sit there and try to poke people to get a reaction from them. It's like, I did 14 plus years in the military. I did 7 years after that federal service, and I worked in the medical field. And, there were always patients that were just so wonderful to work with, so wonderful to help, and you just wanted to see them get better. And there were always those people that came along and they had to puff out their chests. They had to make themselves feel important, whether it was because of their rank or the rank of their father or whatever. And that's the same thing I see on social media. People safely at home, puffing out their chest, swinging their dick around, trying to be the big fucking dog in the yard. And it's just like, you have to understand, it's like everybody's going to have different levels of success. When I do my campaign, I'm not going to sit there and compare myself to somebody like Ethan Van Sciver, who's probably over $900,000 now on Cyberfrog 2 Wreck Planet. Go check it out on Indiegogo. You know, I'm not Richard C. Myers, your boy Zach, who's, you know, making $200,000 every campaign he runs consistently. You know, Dan Fraga bringing back, you know, his property. You know, it's like making $100 and some odd plus $1,000 on it. That's wonderful. You know, it's like I can't compare myself to that, you know, because I'm not them. You know, it's like, and Black Flag is what skipped my mind for Dan Fraga. That's his campaign right now on Indiegogo. Black Flag, Pineapple Perception. Go back it. I love Dan's work. He seems to be a really great guy. I don't know him personally. I just see him through videos and stuff like that. But back his book. But you know what I'm saying? It's like it's egos. It's fragile egos that are getting stepped on because other creators are being more successful. Or in the case of the anti-CGers, when they left Comicsgate, I think they thought like everybody was going to go with them. Like all the fans, the customers, the consumers, the backers, whatever you want to call them, we're going to go over into that court and we'll be like, all right, yeah, we're going to support you. For many, it didn't happen. And maybe some of those creators in anti-CG are struggling right now. And I'm sorry they're struggling. But you did it to yourself. You know, when you start putting yourself above your supporters and you start trying to throw out your political beliefs or your religious beliefs or what have you, and the supporters are like, no, wait, we're just here for comic books. No, we're not, you know, we don't want this. We're trying to get away from political and social agendas. We don't want to hear yours. We're not trying to, you know, I don't like that dollar bill. I like this dollar bill. But really, they're all the fuck the same. People don't want that. And then you get mad. You call people names. You go over into your corner. You sulk. You try to put out your books. They don't get funded the way they used to get funded. And you get angry. And you lash out. And you lash out at the other creators. The creators in Comicsgate. You lash out at the fans of Comicsgate. Why? Because you want attention? You want to be a petulant little fucking kid? You want somebody to come over and go, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that so-and-so's success hurt your fifis. I'm so sorry. It's okay. You'll do better next time, I'm sure. You know? No, that's not going to happen. It's like, I don't understand why people can't just let other people do their thing. That's all. I want to create a comic book. That's what I want to do. I want to talk to people. I want to build a connection on YouTube and Twitter with like-minded people so we can talk about things and we can just have a good time, have fun, hopefully produce really, really good comic books that people want to own. That's all I want. It's like, I don't give a fuck what you do in your home. I don't give a fuck if you're a keyboard warrior. You know, you want to puff up your chest and try to be big, like the big dog. You know, I see people all the time calling other people out on their lives. It's like, what does it fucking matter? Why is it your business what someone else does in their personal life? It doesn't matter. It's none of your fucking business. Shut your mouth. Take care of your own things. You know, I'm sure a lot of these people who like to come out and throw jabs and poke and stuff like that, I'm sure you have some form of life. I'm sure you have some family somewhere, some friends, maybe you have children. It's like, why don't you fucking get off the internet and spend time with them instead of trying to just create hate and drama? And that's all it is. And I don't know, I got 2 people watching this, you know, um, close to the record of 3. And I don't know if these people agree with me. And I would say post in the comments, but I don't seem to get the comments. I'm not able to see. I get notifications that there's a comment on the video, but then when I go to the video, I can't see the comments. So I don't know if anybody agrees with me, but I think that's what it is. I mean, if you're a comic book fan, all you want is a good comic book. You want somebody to tell you a story. Doesn't matter, like I said, if it's a horror story or a crime noir story or a science fiction, or if it's just a cape story. It's like you just want a story that takes your mind out of the world around you and puts you in this intricate, fabulous, interesting new world. These heroes that can leap buildings in a single bound and faster than a speeding bullet and all that stuff. That's all you want. It's just like with people in the fandom menace. All they want is the respect that they deserve as fans. It's like they want to go see good movies. So I don't know. I don't want to just kind of babble on here about things, because I am new to live streaming, so I know I come off as a little bit awkward. But, I don't have anything to hide, from anybody. It's like, I'm a veteran. I served a little bit of time in the Army. I served a little bit over 14 years in the Navy. Like I said, I was a federal worker for 7 years. Now my days kind of encompass trying to write and trying to ink things and deal with my own mental health issues, as well as trying to be a good husband and be a good father to my daughter. That's what's important to me. Those are the things that are important to me. What somebody is doing over there, I don't care. I just honestly don't care. It's like what you do behind closed doors is your business. If you choose to make it public, then that's your choice. But I'm not here to attack anybody. I'm just here because I want to read good comics and I hopefully want to create good comics. And that's why I stand with Comicsgate and I stand with War Campaign, and I don't give a fuck if anybody likes it. Everybody that I approach that I know that they may not be Comicsgate, I let them know that I am Comicsgate and this book is going to be through Comicsgate and War Campaign. It's like those are the customers I'm looking for, because I know those are the customers that want to read a good book. And if you don't want to be associated with us, then that's your choice. But it's like the drama's unnecessary. It really is. Yeah, I guess that's about all I think I really have to ramble on today. I actually talked more about drama than I did comic books. But I don't know about the people who are going to watch this, but it's like I grew up relatively poor in a small rural town. My father definitely had his issues. I lost my mother when I was 7 weeks old, so I never got to know her. And life for me wasn't super, I'm not saying that I've had the hardest life in the world, but it wasn't easy. And my escape was comic books, and I fell in love with them instantly. And now all the talk is about, there has to be this diversity, this person has to be this way, or hey, why don't we make so and so this now? And you know, honestly, it's like when I read comic books, if it's a good comic book, I don't care who's behind the mask. I don't even really see them, even when they have the mask off. So, you know, technically you could change any superhero or villain to me, and it really wouldn't matter as long as you gave me a good story with good art. You know, it's like I grew up loving Peter Parker as Spider-Man. Spider-Man was probably my favorite superhero growing up. Um, you know, I got into the old stories, the reprint of the Stan Lee Ditko stories, and you know, I really attached to that character because Peter Parker was going in, it was in school, was in like high school, and I don't think I was even in high school when I first started reading Spider-Man, but I could relate that he was a student and I was a student. You know, I didn't sit there and go, oh yeah, a good old white student there. Yeah, you know, that's why I like him, because he's white. Like, wink, wink. No, it was just like, no, man. It's like you put on that costume or that uniform, whatever you want to call it, and you go out in the city and you fight these badass, you know, villains like Doc Ock and the Lizard and Electro and all those characters. You know, that's what I liked. You know, I always say that, like, even I was a big fan of the what's the other universe that Marvel had? It was their version of the Avengers or whatever. Anyways, but they had the Ultimate Universe. So they had Ultimate Spider-Man, and they ended up killing Peter Parker character, and then Miles Morales came over, and people were like in a big huff, like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, what does it matter, man? It's like it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if, like, Peter could have been like an Asian kid adopted by some family for all I cared. I don't, didn't matter to me. Who mattered? Oh, the person whose name was on the cover of the book. It's fucking Spider-Man. That's who I cared about. Spider-Man was red and blue, and then for a while he was black and white, and then he went back red and blue, and it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Whatever. That's the only thing I paid attention to. You know, I think what we need to do as a community within Comicsgate and along with War Campaign is we need to create characters like that. Create characters that transcend any kind of labeling, because they're just so engrossing that you don't sit there and think about them as like, oh, as he's black guy. Excuse me. Or, oh, it's a white person, or oh, a Muslim. If you write your characters right, it doesn't even matter. It's like when you pick up a comic, like if you pick up an old X-Men comic book, like say from the 70s and 80s, like John Byrne or Paul Smith or John Romita Jr., it's like, I mean, did you really sit there and scan and think about like all the characters? Like, oh, dude, he's Russian. Oh, no, I don't like Russians. Or, oh, he's Canadian. What the fuck? Or, oh, Storm is from Africa. Oh, geez. No, you wanted the Avengers. It's like, who are they going to fight? Is it going to be Magneto? Is it going to be Sentinels? The Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Who? What was going on in those stories? You didn't did you really give a fuck about their sexuality, their religion, their race, their ethnicity? I think if that's what you're focused on, then you totally missed the whole concept of what comic books should be. It's like, this stuff should be fun. And I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to end it there. Went from 2 watchers to 1, so that tells me I'm just going on too long. So anyways, thank you for watching this. If you watched it live, thank you for watching it. If you watch it later on, if you liked the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share out the video if you would. I'm trying to build this channel. I know things are a little bit rough now because, like I said, I'm not used to doing the live stream. Hopefully, someone will take notice of me and maybe let me on their channel. I think I'd probably be a little bit more comfortable with someone to talk to, or maybe I'll find somebody who wants to come in and be like, we can do a show together about comic books and movies or whatever. I don't know. But the sky's the limit. So anyways, you know, put drama aside, you know, find good comics to read, create good comics for people to read. And that's all I ask of people, It's like, I don't care about your personal life. I don't care about your financial issues. I don't care about what religion you are or what race you are or whatever. It's like, I try to be friends with everybody. If you don't want to be my friend, then that's fine. You just go your way, I'll go mine. So anyways, take care, people. The country's opening up. We're going to see how that goes. Please stay safe. You know, look out for yourself, look out for your family, look out for your friends, your neighbors, your co-workers, and just be good to one another. And take care. Thank you so much for watching the video. Bye.